Good evening. I'm your local weather authority, Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. It was a rainy and at times windy election day, but the rain is out, the wind is dying down. Temperatures start to cool off a little bit. 62 degrees in Peoria currently. The showers and isolated storms from earlier are moving east and will gradually diminish through the rest of tonight. Still hanging on to some cloud cover though as temperatures gradually cool into the 40s. We'll have more on your forecast coming up. WMBD News at 6 starts.
The polls are closing down soon, but the parties are just starting up. I'm Shabnam Dinesh, and coming up, I'll take you inside one of the Democratic watch parties in Peoria County.
Also, polling places have been seeing lines out the door. Alex Berger will join us live with a look at what they are seeing over in Tazewell County.
And our Capitol Bureau Chief Cole Hankey will join us live to discuss some hot-button topics for this election. First at 6, we're keeping an eye on multiple races around our state, and voters have just under an hour to finish casting their ballots.
Yes, and we have team coverage all across the state to bring you the latest updates. Let's begin with WMBD's Shabnam Dinesh. Shab, you are at Jimmy's Bar for the Democratic Watch Party. How's it going over there?
Yeah, that's right, Thomas, Rebecca. Like you said, I am down at Jimmy's Bar in West Peoria, and it is lively. People are excited. This place is really filling up. We'll take a look. If you want to take a look over here, you can see a lot of people are wearing yellow. Most of the people here are actually here supporting John Spears. He's the candidate. He's a Democratic candidate for the 10th Judicial Circuit Court judge race. Now, he's up against Frank Iruli, who was appointed that position 8 years ago. Now, if you can see over here, lots of people here are, like I said, are here to support Spears. We've got the Peoria Heights mayor. Also saw Jamie Hartwood, who is running unopposed for Peoria County Coroner. And we talked to John earlier today, and he said, well, the campaign trail's been a long trail. It's all been worth it.
Hopefully we'll have some fun. Good or bad, everybody's in good spirits, and it's been a long election campaign, and had a lot of support, so we're down here to really celebrate that.
And we're following a few more races that impact us here in Peoria County. First is the 46th district for the state Senate. The incumbent is Democrat Dave Kaler. We're also following the 105th state House district with challenger Morgan Phillips. And we are also covering the Peoria County State's Attorney race with incumbent Democrat Jody Hoos. We'll have much more coming up in our later watch parties. For now, reporting to you live from Jimmy's for your local election headquarters, I'm Shabnam Dinesh. Back to you.
All right, Shab, thank you. Our Ben Freeze is following Republican races right now. He is at a watch party over at the Peoria County Republican headquarters. Ben, what's it like over there?
Yeah, Thomas, we're following multiple races tonight here at the Peoria County Republican headquarters. As things haven't quite gotten started yet here, but around 7, this place is going to start getting crowded. Now, the races include incumbent Democrat Dave Kaler, running against newcomer Republican Sally Owens to represent Illinois' 46th district, which covers parts of Peoria, McLean, Woodford, and Tazewell counties. We're also covering races such as incumbent Republican Frank Iruli, going against Democrat John Spears for the 10th Judicial Circuit Judge seat. Now, I spoke with Brett Beechler a little bit earlier, who's running for the District 6 seat on the Peoria County Board against incumbent Eden Blair. He spoke about his campaign and how he plans to be fiscally responsible if elected. I also spoke to Robert Boucher, who's running for Peoria County State's Attorney, and he seemed excited about his campaign against incumbent Jody Hoos, saying that he's confident that it's time for the citizens of Peoria County to make their voices heard tonight. Now, I'll be here for the rest of the night covering these local races and reporting live with your local election headquarters. I'm Ben Freeze.
Ben, thank you so much. We turn now to our Alex Berger, who joins us from Tazewell County. Voters have just under an hour until those polls close. He is live right now at Felipe's Marketplace in East Peoria. So, Alex, tell us, what have you seen?
Yeah, Rebecca, as you said, I'm at Felipe's Market in East Peoria. It has been a busy day for this polling place. There have been more than 2,000 voters that have come through this polling place today. As you can see behind me, still some excited voters casting their ballot today. as we near the 7 o'clock deadline. Now, I have gone to a few different polling places, and they all have been full with eager voters casting their ballots. Now, the polls have been open since 6 a.m. this morning, and an election official told me she's seen many new voters register to cast their ballot. Now, I spoke with one voter who was thrilled to come out with her entire family to cast her ballot.
It's our chance to voice our opinion and voice what we believe in and hopefully guide our country in the right direction. We just went right up to our precinct, we got all the paperwork done and we voted. It was easy, no lines. My 87-year-old dad, my 86-year-old mom were able to do it, no problem, and we voted.
Now, as I mentioned, the polls do close at 7 p.m. Now, we'll give you election updates all night on air and online at our website, ciproud.com. But right now at Felipe's Market, I'm Alex Berger, WMBD News.
All right, Alex, thanks. Down to the final hour for voters to cast their ballot. And in McLean County now, time is ticking and the polls are closing in less than 60 minutes. People are getting their ballots in for Bloomington and McLean County as 7 p.m. is growing near. McLean County had 18,000 people vote today alone out of 62,000 registered voters. Now, mail-in ballots and early voters bring that total to more than 40,000 votes just today. Kathy Jennings has been an election judge for McLean County since 2016. She says it's a lot of fun to see first-time voters.
Typically, they're younger, they've just turned 18, they can't wait to vote, they can't wait to speak their voice, you know, they want their voice heard. And especially in this election, I feel like it's been really pronounced, more so than in elections past.
Now, just last week, McLean County mailed out 2,000 new voter registration cards. According to its website, Bloomington has more than 7,200 mail-in ballots with more than 1,400 early voters total. And there are multiple referendums statewide on the ballot that includes reproductive health insurance.
And our Capitol Bureau Chief Cole Hankey joins us live right now. So Cole, what can you tell us about this?
Well, these were the 3 questions that were on top of your ballot ahead of even the presidential race. These were advisory questions for lawmakers going forward. None of them are binding. None of them would require the state to act, but they do give lawmakers a very good idea of what voters want to see. Now, that first question that you referenced is in regards to IVF, reproductive rights, big topics on the national campaign trail. The question here asking, should health insurance companies be required to cover IVF and other assisted reproductive health methods up to a certain degree? This will be a big deal for lawmakers when they return to the Capitol. Other questions that you had, ones like property tax relief were on the ballot. Should people who make over $1 million a year be subject to an additional 3% tax on their income to help alleviate property tax pressures across the state? This one will be a big deal because it gives a good idea. The last one, election worker protections. This is specifically for candidates. If candidates interfere with election workers, should they face civil penalties? We'll be tracking all of these results and bringing you those results throughout the night to see if lawmakers will be acting or not going forward.
And speaking of that accountability referendum, are there any concerns right here in Illinois when it comes to safety for election workers and what protections are in place for them?
Well, there are a lot of ongoing problems with across the country with election worker safety. We've heard a lot about them here in Illinois. We've seen some in Champaign County. Most recently, that's where our election center is at right now. We had an actual fight break out in in one of the polling locations between 2 voters. One was upset they couldn't wear a Trump hat in there, and then put a camera in the face of another voter. A scrap broke out because of that. Third-party security actually being brought into Champaign County. So this is an ongoing conversation. We've heard about issues in so many other states. But again, this question on the ballot, very niche. It'll be won't be very wide-ranging in its impact if lawmakers are to take these results into account.
All right, Cole, thank you so much for that insight tonight.
Well, we've had some scattered showers, some gusty winds throughout Election Day. Here's a look at the latest radar showing the showers finally starting to wind down. What's in store for us for the rest of the week? We'll have that forecast.
You're watching a special edition of WMBD News, your local election headquarters, with Rebecca Brumfield, Thomas Garverick, Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates with your local weather authority forecast, and Kurt Pegler with sports. This is WMBD News at 6.
This show is like every 15 minutes, but then it's like every 5 minutes. It's like I have something back to back, so it's kind of just switching in between.
Gotta keep going.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I can do that.
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, sounds good.
The Storm Tracker Camera Network is sponsored by the Uftring Auto Group. If we wouldn't sell it to our family, we wouldn't sell it to you. Now, your local weather authority forecast from Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates.
Well, Central Illinois picked up some much needed and welcomed rainfall over the past couple of days. Here's a look at the storm total reports going all the way back to Saturday night into Sunday morning. And ever since then, these are some of the totals we've picked up. Avon, just over 3 inches of rain. Both Peoria and Pekin coming in at 2 3/4. Henry over 2.5. And Bloomington picked up about another 1/10 of an inch of rain since the last newscast, thanks to the last batch of rain that has pushed through there in the last hour. Those showers, isolated storms, continue to move out, and just a few spotty showers linger just off to the west. But we've got broken skies. Skies starting to clear out a little bit. I think the clearing is temporary, but it is nice to see the rain kind of move out for a little bit, and things will dry up, but not for too long of a period. We've got another system on the way later this week, but temperature is not bad. Upper 50s to low 60s currently, and you can see the steadier stream of moisture now finally working its way to the east as we see a wedge of dry air starting to push in from the west. And that dry air is going to keep our weather pretty quiet over the course of tonight and even into tomorrow. Meanwhile, there's a strong system that's going to begin to ramp up here out west, and this is going to bring some significant snows to the plains of eastern Colorado. Parts of New Mexico going to get in on that action as well. But for a while, that system at least stays to the west of us. In the meantime, skies will be partly to mostly cloudy tonight. The wind speeds will continue to die down, though they were a little gusty earlier, and it was very wet around midday, but things are looking good tonight. Low 40s in the west, mid 40s in the east. Here in Peoria, looking at a low temperature of 45. Tomorrow, we'll probably wake up to some cloud cover. Those clouds will probably scour out a bit, and we'll be looking at mostly clear to partly cloudy skies in the afternoon. all things considered, a nice day. It is going to be cooler than it's been, but this is a little closer to average than what we would expect this time of year, with highs in the mid-50s. That system out west continues to bring heavy snow to eastern Colorado. We got winter storm warnings in effect already for some of the eastern plains of Colorado. And eventually this system will head our direction, bringing us some showers and thunderstorms by Saturday late afternoon and more so into Saturday night. Until then, we're looking good, pleasant. Skies mostly clear to partly cloudy with seasonal temps. Best rain chances arrive late in the day Saturday. Things dry out early next week for a beautiful Veterans Day. We'll be back.
Mic check, testing, 1, 2, 3, mic check.
Yeah. I can just give you a thumbs up if we can hear, or a thumbs down if we can't hear. Cool. Thank you.
You're watching a special edition of WMBD News, your local election headquarters.
Welcome back. WMBD is your local election headquarters, and we are continuing to update you on this election night.
Yes, let's go ahead and turn to our Capitol Bureau reporter, Theodore Coulivares, with more on the 17th District congressional race. Theodore, you're with Eric Sorensen right now. What's it like there?
Well, Eric Sorensen just arrived a few moments ago, and it looks like some of his supporters have also started coming in. And this race has been one of the most competitive races in Illinois in terms of congressional races. Republicans are in the majority right now in Congress, but by very slim margins. They are looking at this seat as a potential pickup to help them add to that majority. But Democrats want to hold on to this seat to help them get control of the U.S. House of Representatives. This race has been dominated by many of the same issues at the top of the ticket, including immigration and border security. Joe McGraw has portrayed himself as the law and order candidate, especially on this issue, touting his endorsements from several law enforcement officials within the district. He says the goal is to crack down on fentanyl and other drugs. Sorensen says he's also focused on stopping fentanyl. He has sponsored legislation aimed at giving border protection officials more money, resources, and technology to go after the problem.
We need to make sure that we're doing that, because if we don't do that, we're going to keep the risk for more parents with their kids.
All of the communities have become border communities because of the fact that fentanyl is everywhere.
When it comes to abortion rights, both candidates have different views on this issue. Sorensen wants to keep those rights protected at the federal level. McGraw says he agreed with the Supreme Court's decision to return the issue of abortion rights back to the states, but says he would not support a national abortion ban. Now, we are here at Eric Sorensen's campaign event tonight, and we will keep you updated on the results as they come in when polls close at 7. Reporting live in the Quad Cities, I'm Theodora Coulivares, WMBD News.
All right, Theodora, thank you so much for the update tonight.
Election night, News Nation is offering something completely different from all the rest. Respect for all Americans. Factual, fair, independent election coverage you can trust. Tonight, 6/5 Central on News Nation.
All right, well, an area football team is still undefeated despite playing through a lot of adversity this football season. Kurt Pegler explains in sports. Next.
Now, your Sam Lehman Sports Desk with Kurt Pegler.
A big week for Notre Dame High School starts tonight. The Irish are hoping to punch their ticket back to the state soccer finals this evening. It would be their third straight trip to state. But to get there, Notre Dame will have to play without star player Caden Hudson, who drew 2 yellow cards in Saturday's sectional final and is disqualified for tonight's super sectional. But Coach Mike Baer isn't concerned.
Irish goal by number 7.
I think he's going to be the best cheerleader in the world. He's going to be a leader. He's going to be a captain. He's going to be an additional coach for us. He's going to get everybody motivated to play, and we're going to find our way into the state finals.
Notre Dame is playing Lamont in the Kankakee Super Sectional for the right to go to state, and we'll have highlights coming up for you tonight at 10 o'clock. Meanwhile, the Notre Dame football team is on its way to the second round of the playoffs for the second year in a row. Notre Dame coming off a huge win over defending state champion Rochester on Friday. That has served notice to the rest of the state that the Irish are a factor in the 4A playoff bracket.
Winning and beating Rochester, it gained us another week, but it also gained us a big old bullseye, right? So now we've got to come out and we've got to play spectacular football every single week.
Notre Dame will travel to Mount Zion for round 2 on Friday night. Farmington is on to the second round of the playoffs with a 10-0 record, but it's been far from easy. Farmington is back in the second round of the playoffs for a 4th straight year, and while some teams feel like the best way to win in November is to slowly grind out victories, the Farmers aren't afraid to win games like they do in the regular season with a big play offense.
We're always going to be who we are, you know, and if we can get the big play, I think schools say you got to grind it out, but I bet if they could take the big play, they'd take them. You know, so if we can get them, we'll get them. If we got to grind, we'll grind.
On the surface, it might look like Farmington's having another ho-hum undefeated season, but these Farmers have really had to overcome some adversity late in the season to get to this point in the playoffs. The Farmers have won games despite having to play around injuries to significant players.
We lost our star quarterback, and we were playing with a backup. Of course, he did amazing. Couldn't have asked anything better than him. Tackles hurt right now. We've been battling through a lot this year.
Like the middle of the season, we didn't really have things going for us too well, so we had to really pick it up there. But now I think we're getting after it and we're getting better each week.
I think this season we've probably went through as much adversity as any of my teams probably have. The different players that have missed time, the close games, and battling through injury. I think it's going to come back to pay dividends here.
Farmington hosts Rock Ridge Saturday in the second round of the Class 2A playoffs, and the Rivermen today sign a 5-year contract extension to keep playing their games at the Peoria Civic Center. Finally, this is some crazy athleticism on display. Philadelphia Eagles star Saquon Barkley jumps over a would-be tackler backwards.
Slips 2 tackles and picks.
Look at that. He literally hurdled a guy backwards. That's like a young Chris Yates, who has our Final Four.
Another look.
There was a time when I could never do that. All right, let's take a look at our forecast. 45 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. And then looking ahead at tomorrow, pretty good day. Looking for temperatures to be back. Here we go. Clicker was slow. Back into the mid-50s. The rest of the week is also looking delightful. We'll have dry conditions through Friday. Next storm system arrives Saturday late afternoon and Saturday night. Looking ahead to Veterans Day. Pretty good.
Sounds wonderful.
Absolutely. We'll take it. Thanks for joining us here at 6. We'll see you back here in a bit for more election coverage. Stay with us all evening. We'll see you later.
For breaking news and weather updates 24/7, log on to CIProud.com and download the free CI Proud to Go mobile app.